Welcome to Wait with Me with Jill Cox Cordova. The show will be starting in just a few minutes, and if you're listening to this in replay, you can fast forward past this part and just get right into the show. But if you are new to Fireside and you wish to know what you can do, there's a few things you can do. You can react by pushing the react button, choose an emoji, and press send. You can also do the same thing, hit the react button, choose an emoji, and type in a comment. You also can type in a comment or a question with that Q&A button. Also, please remember to share this out, share it out to all your friends and so they can listen too, which would be great. Again, the show will be starting in just a few moments. Again, everyone. Yes, again, everyone. Stacy, I'm glad you're there. Denise, I'm glad to see you there also. The show will be starting in just about a minute, so we'll be right with you.
Greetings, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. This is Wait With Me, and I'm your host, Jill Cox Cordova. Thank you so much for coming back this week. Hello, Stacy. Hello, Denise. I'm glad to see you two here. I'm having the best day. I really am. So I'll tell you all about it in my first segment that I call This is the Deal. This is the Deal. All right, so this is the deal. I said this show when I scheduled this show, whenever I scheduled it a long time ago. I thought that because it's the show before Christmas, and people are in the festive kind of spirit of giving, that I would talk all about ways that I've given the kind of gifts I've given others to help me. That was rewarding for me, and I'll still do that. But you'll see that I'm really talking about making sure that you give to yourself. So first of all, I know that if you know me at all, you know that I spend quite a bit of my time, not now, but I used to spend quite a bit of my time volunteering. And so to me, that was my way of giving my time and my talents to help others. But what I found was that the type of volunteer work really affected um, my eating because I'm a comfort food eater. And so, for example, at one point, I used to conduct um, workshops at a home for girls who had been trafficked. And as you know, I'm in the Atlanta area, and Atlanta has a huge trafficking problem. And so I found a home where once they can help them get off the streets, people come there, they live there, and they teach them how to, get like retail jobs or whatever jobs where they're safe and healthy. So I would go in and teach them skills to do that, to get jobs. And there were days where some of the girls, would report that, they found a job at the mall and it was great. But then 2 weeks later, that same girl might have gone back to her pimp. And so it was just really heartbreaking every single time I went to hear their stories. And I found that I would just eat on the way home, once I got home, because I was stressed for them. And food was my comfort spot. Food helped me with that. But also, I've done volunteer work where uh, I've been on a board for a writers group. And I didn't, well, the type of volunteer work I had said I would do, I ended up doing so much more. So again, it stressed me out because of the so much more part. So I realized, wow, I do believe that we are all here and to have to use our gifts to help others. So I'm not saying stop helping others. I believe that we all should, and that's what we're here to do. But I realized that what was missing from utilizing my talents and helping others was me, because I wasn't helping myself. I think in the US, society places this burden on women to nurture others instead of nurturing themselves. And once I started realizing that no is a complete sentence, I really helped myself. That doesn't mean that I don't give to others. I do, and probably on a daily basis. I actually put on my to-do list for others, and what act of kindness can I do to help someone, but not at the expense of me. So once I realized that, I'm doing so much better. And so I just wanted to talk about in this season of giving, don't forget to give to yourself. So that's the deal. That's my message for today. Um, so, so as you know, my second segment, I normally weigh myself, and I will tonight. But I wanted to tell you or remind you, if you weren't here before, what my numbers were like last week. Last week, when I got on the scale, I weighed 160 even, and my measurements were 42, 37 and 3/4, and 41 and 3/4. This week, I'm getting ready to get on the scale, but as you know, I take my measurements just before the show. And I'm happy to report that I'm down a half inch on my bust. I'm down 1 inch in my waist, and my hips are the same. So I'm just excited. Like the numbers keep going down at least inchwise. And so thank you, thank you. So I'm very excited by that. So let me see what the scale is going to tell us. I can do it. I can do it. If I put my mind to it. If I put my mind to it, I can do it, do it, do it. All right. Try not to blow out my ear. Okay. I'm going to lock it in. It's still moving. Okay. Here we go. Thank you, thank you. All right. So 158.6, as you saw. Let me just write that down so they'll know where we're starting from next week. And last week I was at 160. So I'm down, everybody. Yay! I'm so excited. Yay! Woohoo! I will do my happy dance. Okay. So, how did I do it? That's another thing I want to bring up. I see that Denise is in the audience. Hi, Denise. Hi, Really Charlie. Hi. Oh, is it Fanny and Stefan and Stacy? So I want to say thank you to all of you all for being here, because every time you show up, it shows that you're my accountability partner. You're holding me accountable, and I really appreciate that. Denise, I wanted to bring up because last week on the show, she and I talked about Get Fit with Rick, which is a video series that are, you can find the videos for free on YouTube, or you can also join his fitness group where he offers even more content. And the content is a lot of fun. The videos are a lot of fun because they're mostly just walking in place or dancing. There's a lot of dance moves with it, but simple and just fun. So last week when Denise came to the show, she talked about that she was doing that, and so we talked about that we would reach out to each other and just keep each other accountable, and we did that, and we both did videos with Get Fit with Rick, which were great. So I did a lot of that, and I also did this other 30-minute DVD that was strength training. So you use two types of, like a lighter weight and a heavier dumbbell, and also bands, and also your body weight. And I found that once I started doing that again, I really looked forward to it. And so it really just got my day. Either I did it as soon as work was over, and it really like helped me relax, and I've been sleeping better as well. Or I did it before work, and it started my day off on a great note. So I thank you, Denise, for reminding me that that I'm part of that Get Fit with Rick group. So I did it, and so did she. So yay to us. Okay, so let's get to the third segment that I call
Okay, it's your turn to share.
All right. Does anyone want to speak about anything I've said tonight, or share a story of your own? Again, we're heading into the Christmas holiday, if you celebrate that, and just it's all a festive season. And of course, throughout the country, the weather is affecting everything. So, anybody want to talk about anything? Share tonight?
Well, I do have a question.
I can hear you in my ear, producer, but you're on mute on the show.
Oh my goodness.
And now there's a phone.
Yeah, how about that? No, they can hear me. Bum, bum, bum. Yes, they can hear me. Don't worry about it. It's good. See,
Okay. All right.
everybody's clapping. They can hear
Okay.
me just fine.
Okay.
So, I don't like to diet.
Neither do
Um,
I. In
so,
fact, I am not on a diet.
so I think my biggest issue is that I have not belly fat. Belly fat.
Mm,
That's what I have. I have belly fat. So
which the
my
experts
legs are
will say.
good, my arms are good, my shoulders are good, but my belly is just there.
I have that same issue, and experts have always told me that that's the worst kind of fat you could have,
Oh man, that's messed up.
but that it's also usually the result of stress because the the what makes I forgot what it's called, cortisol, that makes
Fat.
that comes from stress is
Yeah.
usually in your gut.
Oh.
So
Huh.
that means I could tell you what the doctors had told me before.
Okay.
Quit your job.
Okay, I'll get right on it.
Get right on it.
Well, thank you for that information. Thank you very much.
But of course, there are other things you can do too. There are certain foods like apparently avocados have something in it that help with belly fat.
Okay, well, thank you.
But I don't think you like avocados, do
No,
you?
not really, but yeah.
I'll keep looking at the list to see.
Well, thank you very much.
Sure. All right. Anybody else want to say anything about anything? If you just joined the show, again, I have lost inches and weight this week, so I'm very excited by that. Let's see. Really, Really, Charlie says, I guess I'm stressed. I'm just conveying what people have said to me that if you tend to carry, the biggest part of your body in your belly, it's usually the result of stress and also a lack of sleep. Apparently, if you're sleep deprived, have insomnia or sleep apnea, chances are you're going to store fat in your gut. But again, I'm not a medical expert at all. I'm just conveying what people have said to me. All right. Anybody else? Hi, Stacy. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, that last comment kind of, I guess, maybe explains my my midsection. Because when the school year is in session, I've got stress, and I'm more of a night owl, so I have a hard time going to bed in time to get up at 4:30 in the morning. So I guess there's two strikes against me. Maybe it's time to look for another job.
Well, if you're unable to do that, then I would work on the sleep part.
Yeah, good idea. And I do love avocado, so I might have to incorporate that more.
See, there you go.
And I guess I know that for me, I guess in a way, kind of in a love-hate relationship with food because I love comfort food, but my waistline shows it. But so I know that there's big rooms for improvement. But one thing, I guess, because of the fact that you've been on this journey and I've popped in to listen and all
Which I
that,
appreciate.
and well, and I appreciate the fact that you're doing this because then at the same time, when I do go to snack, I find myself almost. I mean, I'll have enough to kind of, take care of the taste and all that I'm seeking.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to be more cautious or careful about, like if I'm wanting some chips, instead of having the whole bag, or three-fourths of the bag, I limit to where I kind of get enough to satisfy the craving that sent me to the bag in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to do better at portion sizing. And so listening to me, to my body, kind of, it's, I know there's still room for improvement there too, but I think it's a teeny tiny baby step in the right direction to at least stop when I'm satisfied instead of the mindless snacking.
Yes, yes, and I applaud you for that because every step counts, you know? So I applaud that you're doing that. And even, with cravings, one thing that I've learned is that there's a cue first. So when our bodies crave something or when we crave something, um, it's not necessarily just the food itself, but what it makes us feel. So maybe the next time, like I think you're doing great with limiting yourself and stopping with, when you actually know you're full and your craving has been satisfied. But maybe next time ask yourself, why are you craving those chips? What's going on to make you crave it? So for example, one thing that I was talking about comfort food at the beginning of this show, and one of my favorite comfort foods is chips. So I'm right there with you. I love chips, and for a while, when Tony he would buy bags and bags of gigantic sized chips, and they would be gone in no time, and he would, be like, "Where did all the chips go so quickly?" So he said to me the other day, like, "Wow, you haven't eaten any of the chips." And it was for two reasons. Number one, I replaced it with something else that gave me that taste that I wanted. It's still a chip, but it's a healthier chip. And then number two, I started thinking, what is it that I'm feeling every time I have a craving for salty things or chips? And usually it was because I was thinking about the next day at work. I was thinking about things I hadn't done. I was thinking about, I'm so busy, I'm never going to get all of this done. And still I procrastinate and all of that. So once I realized that was my go-to whenever I felt that, then I was able to like write in my journal, like, I'm feeling this kind of way, or do something else to to address what I'm feeling. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Well, and something else I might ask you because I've heard it, and I don't know with you or anyone else, but I've also heard sometimes that when you get those like cravings, that it's not so much the item that you're craving, but might be a little bit of dehydration,
Mhm.
lack of water. Have you heard that too?
I have, and I have found that to be true. So sometimes I ask myself, especially if I'm like, oh gosh, I'm hungry, I could eat whatever, like everything, and I'm like, well, am I actually hungry or am I thirsty? And I start off by drinking water and to see, and sometimes I'm just thirsty. So that yes, I've heard that and I have experienced it.
Okay, I might need to try to pull that up to the forefront so that I can kind of do a process of elimination and see if that solves the craving.
Sure, sure. And another thing that I did was I worked on one thing at a time. I didn't try to go cold turkey on anything. I just worked on one thing at a time. So with chips, instead of having it every day, I had it 5, and then 3, and then 1, and then none. So a week is what I'm talking about. So, just pace yourself. Don't try to do everything at one time.
Okay, good idea. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you for the conversation. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you hadn't noticed, Jill, our friend Tammy is in the audience.
Tammy, hey girl. Thanks for being here. And thank you all for being here. I mean, seriously, you all have been holding me accountable these, let's see, what episode is this? 7? These 7 weeks that I've been doing this. So I appreciate you because I really don't think there's any way in the world. Let's see, I started at 165. Tonight I'm at 158.6. And I really credit you all for that because I think of every time I grab, for something or I'm tempted by something, I was like, oh, I have a show on Wednesday night where I get on a scale and I talk to people. So you all are really helping me in many, many ways. And I just have to warn you all that the more weight I lose and the better I start feeling, then the fewer clothes I'm gonna wear. I'm not gonna ever be naked, but close. just want to warn everybody. All right. Well, does anyone else have anything to say before I go on to the next segment? Okay. Well, then let's go to the next segment. I can do it. I can do it if I put my mind to it. If I put my mind to it, I can do it, do it, do it. All right, so this is the segment where I talk about my goals. And last week, my goal was to think of my goals as systems. And I said that I'm reading a book called Atomic Habits, and I'm learning that if you have a different mindset about your goals, then you can not only achieve them but maintain them. So what I just learned was that when you decide that a goal is part of your identity as opposed to something a task to do, then it's another way to look at it. So, for example, instead of saying, I'm going to try to lose weight, I'm going to start saying, I am a person that puts fitness and wellness as a priority. It's one of my biggest priorities. And eventually I want to be able to say, I am a fit and I'm a fit and healthy person. So that I can then work backwards to figure out what all I have to do to be that person. So it reminded me, and in the book, it gives this example as well, but I have experienced in real life, I from the time I was 9, I believe, I decided I wanted to be a writer. So when people, how when you're young, people ask you, how old are you? And I would say, I am 9 and I'm a writer. So I had claimed that identity as a 9-year-old, and I've stuck with it. I am a writer. So I want to be able to embrace that same kind of confidence and assurance and become the person I want to be. So my new goal, that's last week, the goal was to figure out what different mindset I was going to have. So my new mindset is I am a fit and well person. And then I'm going to work to actually become that. My new goal for this coming week is because the holidays is usually when I gain weight and just stop doing everything that I've worked so hard at doing. So my goal is to not do that. Just stick to my routine that I've started to establish and just stick with it. So that's my goal for next week. All right. Thank you. And again, every time I say it aloud, you all are holding me accountable just by being here. So I really appreciate that. Well, unless anyone has anything else to say, producer, did I miss anything?
I don't believe so.
Okay, I forgot to say I'm in Studio 3. And we're getting ready to go to Studio 1 to do I'm Right, which comes on in about an hour from now. And tonight, Tony and I'm sure we've all met these kind of people, but we're talking about the people who just deliberately try to test your limits, test your nerves. We're talking about those kind of people tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. And then next week, I'm talking about looking forward to the new year. Although I'm not going to be a new me, I'm just going to be a better me. So anyway, that's coming up. So I just want to thank you all again for being here. I want to thank you, Tony, for being my producer and my husband and my supportive person. The music that you're listening to right now and at the beginning of the show is called Suns Out International by G-Day Production. And the music that we use during each segment is called Real School Sunglasses by That Core Beat. So thanks again, everyone. If you celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a wonderful one. And I hope to see you next week. Thank you. Bye.